Hello and welcome to Broken SeaShell Stampin with Lani. Today I'm participating in the video hop around the world, and this is the theme for the month of October is shapes. So this is a card I made with some shapes. So come along with me and I'm going to show you how to make this card. Here's the materials. To save some time, I die cut everything out. So the stamp set I used is the Fright Night Bundle, which is in the online exclusives right now. And we use I don't really use the dies in this one except for the spider webs. And the main shapes I'm using are going to be the squares with the Stylish Shapes die set. And the sizes we used on these squares are cut with fresh Fresia. You're going to need 2 of these squares. They are the die size, the 2-inch, and then that's this one here, 2 inches, and then the 1.5 inch, and that's going to be our layer. If you wanted to add another shape to this card, you can do the moon. So I just did a little die cut. This is not on the example, didn't use the moon on this one. But if you wanted to use that, that would be the 1.25 inch Stylish Shapes die. And that's this size right here. So join me and we are going to get started making this card. Okay, the Stylish Shapes is this one right here, item number 159, 183, if you're going to use those ones today with me. So the colors we're using is fresh Fresia and then basic white. I'm also going to use Granny Apple Green. It's also cut in the 2-inch square, and this is you just need 1 Granny Apple Green, and then you're going to need 3 of the basic white. These are the 1.5 inch cut. You could use either Eek or Boo if you wanted to. I just used Happy Halloween, but I wanted to show you that I cut these out as well, just in case you needed them. The paper, the DSP that I used is I believe it's currently on last chance. It is the Everyday Skies 6x6 designer series paper. You could easily paint your own background if you wanted, but I was kind of going with a night sky kind of witchy design for this card, just because it's Halloween and I love to make cute little Halloweens. So the cut on this is going to be your standard 5.5 by 8.5 inches. It's a standard sheet of paper cut in half, and we're going to score it at 4.25. So I got my score bell, scoreboard, simply scored, and it's going to be the 4.25. And then you're done with the embossing. I'm sorry. I'm done with the scoring. Whew. Already. Okay, I'm going to make that clear. Now, the cut of the background, the DSP, is going to be 4.25 by, let's see, did I write that one down? I didn't write it down, but it's 4.25 or 4 inches by 5.25. So we're going to go ahead and cut that, and I will be back. Okay, I cut the DSP in this shape to get more of the clouds. So you're going to cut this side the 4 inches and give you this little extra for another card, and then you're going to cut off this little portion to make that 5.25, which is about 3/4 inch. So there's nothing else on the back of this card, so you can go ahead and adhere this anytime. Now I did want to have as much clouds here because I put the Happy Halloween down in the corner. So you can do that now if you would like, or you can do it at the end. I'm going to go ahead and do it now. The 2 colors that we're using today is the Secret Sea and a VersaMark for the embossing. So what I did was offset this because I wanted the corner to just have this, and since it's long, so I'm going to show you how to do just that side. you're going to start with the bottom first, which is Halloween. So what I do is I take this side and you just stamp on the ink pad just to get Halloween inked up. So then we're going to bring that over here and put that right there. And now you've got Halloween. You're going to clean your stamp off. Make sure you get it good and there's nothing left. And then I also just take a tissue just to make sure I dry it good enough, because we are going to have a second impression in a way. And we don't want to get that in there, the other piece in there. So now you're just going to stamp on the happy. And you just double check just to get the edges. Excuse me. I'm still missing that Y, so a little bit over. There we go. Got the whole happy. Now we're going to stamp that down right above Halloween. There you go. Happy Halloween. Put that away. Go ahead and get your glue out. And we're going to adhere this to the back of the card and make sure your card is the right direction. I'm just using some multi-purpose glue. And the first step of this shape, which is a rectangle, is going to be on our other rectangle. Just want to make sure we get all of our shapes in here. Okay, so that part's done. Go ahead and set that aside, and then we're going to work on our squares. I chose to emboss the card, so if you'd like to emboss that, I will show you how to do one of them with the embossing, but I'm just going to do a secret C right now so you can see if you don't have a wet embossing tool, you can still do this card with just your ink and paper. Now, you could just stamp this on a piece of white cardstock and then die cut it out. However, I like to try to save as much paper as I can, so I like to do it this way, and I feel like it's more artistic. So we're going to just ink up the stamp to make sure you get it. Then I tried to get each animal and the hat. So I wanted a bat, the cat, and the hat. So take the die cut out. This is the 1 1/4 inch. Then you're just going to look for the best place. So I'm going to set it right here to get my bat. Let's see. Now I got the edge of the cat, so I'm going to go right about there. Then you're going to take your scratch paper, set it on top, and then just ink it up. And I might have tapped it a couple times because I was looking where I was having it. Then you're going to pull this off, and there's your image upside down. Woohoo! Perfect. So there's the one. Then you don't have to ink the whole stamp up when you're doing the other ones, because I set it on top of my ink. So this now is going to be the cat. So I'm just going to make sure we get the cat in there. And take your other square, and we're going to set it more right with the cat. So just place it down. Take your scratch paper, push it on. You can do this on big stamps. This is the best way, is to ink the stamp, but we're doing the little die cuts. And there's our little cat. And the eek and the witch's hat on the bottom. So we just want to get this bottom portion, don't need the whole stamp. Take your third and go ahead and put it right there. Oh, that's my alarm going off. Wake up, wrong time. All right, set that on there and ink up your hat. Yeah, I had set an alarm for a different event in the morning, and I ended up putting it the wrong time, and I forgot to turn it off. And there's our last piece. So there's our little witch's hat. So with that, you're done with your stamping, and now we're just going to put the card together. But I will show you how to do one of them in embossing, and I will be back with that option. Okay, so if you're going to emboss, then you're going to want to use some VersaMark. And I have VersaMark and the Wow Primary Ebony embossing powder. So I do this the same way I did the other with just the regular ink. So you're just going to ink up the VersaMark on the stamp. go ahead and put that where the bat's at. Same thing, get your scratch paper, put it on here, make sure it's nice and wet. Now you can do all 3 of these at the same time. It usually stays pretty wet as long as you don't take a lot of time and you don't have a fan blowing. So I'm going to go ahead and set this on the cat for the second square here. I'm only going to emboss 1 on the video, and then we'll show you the rest at the end. And now our witch's hat. Now, I like to clean off the VersaMark really quickly so it doesn't get sticky. So I will do that right now. I just clean it off with a little baby wipe, and then I put it in my stamp cleaner. So now we're done with that. And my tool to hold the pieces is a piece of tape with a binder clip at the end. And let's do the first step. Stick that in there. A little tray. Stampin' Up! Has a really nice one. I don't have that one available at the moment. And so we're going to put the powder on there. Tap it off. Set that aside. You can scoop this up, but I just pour more in there. I'm still pretty new at embossing. You could do this on the whole thing and then die cut it. I just prefer to do it this way. So tap those off. The nice thing about VersaMark is it stays pretty, it doesn't dry really fast. So it looks like that was enough there. Tap it off. Now, just going to clip it on one of the edges that doesn't have, and these are really, binder clips work pretty good. So there's the square all ready to be embossed. If you have sensitive ears, please mute it so the tool doesn't get too loud. So I'm just going to put this on here, and you can see the magic happen as soon as it gets warm enough. And there it starts turning. Just kind of go around. As you see, the nice thing about black is it's dark. Some of the lighter ones are harder to see. And there you go. So I'm going to emboss the other 2 and I will be back. All right, so now we have all 3 embossed. And you've got your hat, your cat, and your bat all on squares. These are the small squares. And you also have your inked up ones with Secret C. So you could do either one of them. For the purpose of this card, I'm just going to go ahead and do the embossed one. All right, so we've got our embossed squares. I just did this to save time. So you're going to they're going to glue the bat on the pink. I'm sorry, the fresh Fresia, the hat on the fresh Fresia, and then the cat on the Granny Apple Green. So remember, these were the 2-inch squares with the 1.5-inch square on the inside with basic white. And then we're going to put these on our rectangular card, and we can place these however you'd like. That's the way I placed them before. And if you wanted to add a moon, you could add a moon in the sky. This is cut out with the 1.25 inch, and all I did was just dab a little bit of Secret C with my finger. If you want to make it kind of look like the moon, I feel like when you're coloring the moon, it's better with the fingertips, but I'm not going to put this on here this time. But if you did want to add a circle to your square card, squares and rectangular card, that's our shapes for you, you can do that. Now, spider webs do make their own shape, and I thought it looked nice having these tucked in behind these squares just to give it a little spookier look. So I just kind of placed them underneath here like they were kind of stuck in the spider web. And that was about the trickiest part of this card. Thanks for my dog shaking off. So I used these on dimensionals, and then I stuck the spider webs underneath, which is kind of tricky. So I'm going to walk you through that, and I might mess up myself. All right. So one of the easiest ways to put the spider webs to my, you could cut this on an adhesive sheet, these die cuts, but I don't have any. So I'm going to put my bat stuff here. And what I'm going to do is just put a dimensional in the middle of the squares. Now these dimensionals are also a shape. I believe it's a pentagon. No, hexagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are hexagonal. More shapes. It's amazing how much shapes is in a card, and you don't really pay attention to it till you have a challenge for shapes. So my bat goes on the top. Now I want to place these around here so I make sure I don't cover my Halloween, because we are going to want to put the spider webs there. So we'll go ahead and lay them out. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the dimensional down there. Pull this one off. And now if it's a little crooked, it's okay, because we're going to put more dimensionals on there after we get our spider webs. Plus you don't want it to overlap. I should have done the other purple one first, but you don't want it to overlap with dimensionals. So this way you can make sure it's still flat and only use one. And here's the third one. Tuck that right under here. Try to line it up the best you can with the top square. There we go. Now I have my adhesive mat or craft mat, and this is how I put the spider webs on. So just take the glue, your multi-purpose glue, put just a little bit squiggly line on that. Once it dries, you just peel it right off. So I took the ends of the spider web, just kind of got it gooey, and then stick this, let's see if you can see, to where your points meet underneath the squares, and then just push it down. You might want to lift up your dimensional or your squares just for placement so it doesn't get too sticky. And now take the other spider web, get that, as you don't need very much. And then we'll stick this one down here. Go ahead and stick that down. We need a little bit more. Oh, shoot. Well, now I have plenty. So put that one there. We don't need quite that much, but I'll use it for something else quickly here. So dab it off. This one's going to be a little bit more tricky. Let me get this out of the way so I don't glue it. So you want to put it underneath both of these. And there you go. Move it out a little bit, stick that down. And there's our spider web underneath our squares. So take some more dimensionals if you want your card to be a little bit more. And then what I do is I just stick it underneath. You could use your tool. Let me show you how to use this tool. The flat end. This is your take your pick tool. I'm just going to put a very small tip on this hexagonal dimensional. And you want the sticky side, doesn't really matter actually, but I'm going to put the sticky side on where it hits the square. You're just going to put it underneath and then tap it down to get it adhered, and then you can use this to peel up the bottom of your dimensional. Get that off, and then make sure it's straight and put that down. And then now you've got that more secured so it won't flatten down. So that's how we're going to do it. I'll show you one more time on the other one, and then I'm going to pause the video. So I'm going to put this one under here. Probably do two on this one. So let's do one more. And that right there. Go ahead and peel off the backing. I always have dimensionals everywhere. The little backing always finds its way around my house. All right, there's those two. Make sure our square is straight. And I did that a little bit off there and there. So there's our second square secured down. I might put one more right there, and I'll probably put one on each side here. That way, when it goes in the mail, it doesn't get quite too squished down. But there you have it. There is your Happy Halloween Fright Night squares and rectangles with some spider webs and dimensionals in the background. So I will finish this up and show you how the final card looks. With our stylish shapes with the squares, our rectangular card, and the colors again on this were Fresh Fresia, Granny Apple Green, and I used the Wow Black Embossing Powder and Secret Sea. If you wanted to add the moon, and that would just go right under here, right underneath the spider web. You could even put a witch up there if you wanted, but that would be another shape to add to your card. But I just really like the way this came out with those 3 squares there. And with the embossing, it really adds that extra touch. You could embellishment, put some other embellishments on here to spruce it up, but there you have it. Here's the specifications again if you want to screenshot that. I'll have them posted in the bottom of the description. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, this is Lani with Broken SeaShell Stamping, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And I am in California, the United States. Thank you again. Have a great day.